So Fallout.
Fallout.
All right, well,
I don't know a lot about Fallout. My knowledge comes from generally seeing like somebody start up a new game and then never continue it.
so that's my first question: is how are you guys familiar with Fallout?
First Fallout game I experienced was watching Nick play Fallout 3, and that was pretty litty titty.
Classic.
And then I played a Fallout, didn't get too far. I played New Vegas, and most Bethesda games I don't really play too much. Like, I mean, they're cool, they're fine, but like that's not what really grips me, and I haven't really finished any of them. But I think New Vegas is probably one of the best. Like, of those styles of games, New Vegas is like the best one. As far as like what you could do and like how the stuff worked.
New Vegas is the one that I remember you playing and actually playing.
Yeah. And I got pretty far in that one, but I always do side quests. I never do the main stories, and that's why I end up fizzling out because I'm just in this never-ending side quest encounter of like, or escapade of like going into one of the side quest dungeons, killing everything, looting all the stuff, and then going back and forth to make sure I get every cap's worth of goods. And then after I do that for like 10 hours, I'm like, I'm over it. And then I stop playing. But as far as like the lore and the story goes, yeah, I only know bits about Fallout 3 and bits about New Vegas. I've seen a video about the first game and how its antagonist is like one of the spookiest boys there is.
Yep, because I made you guys watch it.
Yeah, you made us watch it. That is what happened. Yes, okay.
About the Master. Yep.
Yeah.
So...
Because I was blown away by that guy's voice. He's also like Winnie the Pooh and shit. Like, yeah. He's one of the most prolific voice actors.
And they had... Who does it's Ron Perlman who does the introduction.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful gravelly voice,
yeah,
Ron.
War never changes. Yeah, they love that. They love that so much.
No, they play that the fuck up. Like,
that's a great tagline.
It's
pretty good.
It's basically, the same as like in the grim darkness of the far future, there's only war.
Yeah, call sign.
But yeah, so Fallout.
It's a very funny like tagline to have on a game where it's like half of them you can be like, I invented a new weapon. It's a small nuclear warhand I've attached to a ball-peen hammer. And then you just go fight guys. War never changes as everyone is annihilated.
Kinda. You can sort of a little bit do that. Like there's the super sludge and
the super sludge.
Yeah, it's just a really good fucking like mech sledgehammer in New Vegas.
That fucking rules.
Yeah, it's sick nasty.
But yeah, so Fallout. I first played New Vegas. That was my very first Fallout game.
Mm-hmm.
I just got a copy and then randomly put it on one day and I fucking loved it. Amazing.
Right.
Incredible game. And then since then, I played a little bit of Fallout 3, played a little bit of 4, didn't like it that much, and now I'm kind of hooked on Fallout 76.
Is it the online one?
Yes. But just to give a quick overview of Fallout in general, it is a sci-fi setting.
Yeah.
And the overall premise is that...
Dumb it down. I genuinely know basically nothing.
So it's really simple. It's what if instead of investing in like transistors and shit, the world just went full on in nuclear technology.
Oh,
that is like it's a divergent timeline basically where we invested in nuclear technology completely, and then all of their tech is based off of that. And then they made like incredible advancements and everything. Like they figured out cold fusion, like all that. Like the Fallout universe is like actually incredibly advanced, but
with the aesthetics,
they have a retro future aesthetic.
Yeah.
So it looks like everything's still in like the 1950s, 1960s.
Yeah. It's very Jetsons inspired.
But they have nuclear powered cars and shit like that. Like and like nuclear powered power armor. Like
the nuclear Iron Man suit.
Yeah, all this crazy shit. And then biggest problem is...
It's just the opposite of a hazmat suit, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just full of radiation.
Well, it actually lets you resist rads in the game.
Oh,
yeah. It functioned as a hazmat suit.
3 rights make a left and all that.
Yeah. And then what happens is it becomes a post-apocalyptic future because the world nuked itself.
Right.
The U.S. and China went to war, and they just blew each other up, and it's never been confirmed who shot first.
Right.
And then the show has now introduced this possible scenario wherein Vault-Tec is actually responsible for orchestrating the war, or at least that they instigated it.
What, like to make people need a fallout shelter?
Yes.
Yeah, and do their experiments.
100%.
Because he's gonna get to the part about the experiments. That's one of my favorite twists about Fallout.
So when you figure something out and you get that little jolt of dopamine?
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, good.
Because I said that as a joke to be sort of shitty to Fallout, but...
100%.
Oh.
Yeah.
Vault-Tec is... And basically the Fallout version of America is representative of, like, rampant capitalism.
Right.
Like, what if there was no rules? Like, and it's just go crazy. And then, like, that's Vault-Tec. So
Goodness.
Vault-Tec is the company that got assigned the job by the U.S. government to create the vaults.
Right, which are just, like, super future fallout shelters.
They were supposed to be. But then Vault-Tec basically was like, well, we're building them. Like, we get to decide what goes on in here. And so there was...
Right, in the event that they get used, there's not going to be a government to wag their finger at you.
So they just did whatever. And then, like, the conception of the vaults is that there's a little over 100 of them. There's, like, 17 or so that are control vaults. So they're just actually... Those ones are just the good ones. Like, they're just actually fallout shelters. Like, people,
what a luck of the draw!
Yeah,
right.
people live here, they get to survive, and there's no radiation. Good job. And then there's all the other ones, which are...
Right.
Everything from... that you can think of. Like, the experiments are just absolutely atrocious in a lot of circumstances. So, like... One of them is we were trying to make the vault dwellers go insane, but without any like chemicals or anything like that. No medicine. Just through like external stimuli, we're trying to make them go crazy.
Right. Like the kind of things where it's like the stairs are exactly like an inch too short for like how every human steps. Like the high stressor nonsense things that don't just boil down to, and we flooded them with LSD and chemicals.
Yeah, and that's just one experiment. And then there's another one that's like the point of this vault was we're trying to make plants grow better.
Okay, that sounds pretty ominous.
You'd think that'd be a good one, right?
Yeah.
Like, but no, they go a little too crazy with it, and then
feed me, Seymour.
Yeah, and then they create a basically contagion that's like a fungus plant hybrid.
Oh man,
like a lichen, and then it just takes over people.
Oh
like,
shit ass.
And yeah, that vault is just horrible plant monsters now.
Oh my god.
Oh,
the plants grow really good though.
Yeah, they did that part.
So good.
They succeeded on that part.
They're so good at growing that they might end the world if we don't take care of that. That's God, the control vaults really get me.
Yeah.
Because like every single day there's a man like waking up like, "Morning, Joe." "Morning, Steve." And then Joe goes over to his thing and he's like, "Oh boy, I sure love working in vault like 21." And he's just reading the paper and he pulls up a cup of coffee. He's like, "Cheers to another good morning."
Yeah.
And then we go over to like Vault 56, where the plant experiments are happening, and there's a man being eaten by a plant, and he's like, "Professor Jose, you have to save me! Professor!" And then the professor turns around, and there's a mushroom growing out of his eye, and he's like, "Feed the plant."
God
stuffing him
bless.
deeper into the... No! Ah!
Yeah. And then that's just how it goes down.
That's
you know?
fine.
That's how the cookie crumbles.
And it's it's a thing in like every Fallout like main entry that like there's an X amount of vaults you can go into,
Right.
because they're spread throughout the whole country.
Right.
And so it's like every game you get to explore new vaults, and then you get to find like what horrible shit went on in here. This
Yeah.
stuff, you know. Or occasionally you just find one that's like, it's fine.
Yeah, these are just regular, well-adjusted people.
And that's essentially the concept of the very first game. Fallout 1, you're a member of Vault 13, I think it is. And it's one of the good ones.
Right.
Like, it's just a regular ass, like, we just live here. And then the initial premise is our water chip broke. Mm-hmm. So we can't purify the water anymore. We have a limited amount of water now.
Right.
You need to go find one for us and bring it back.
And once you run out of water in like a irradiated wasteland, that's it.
Yeah.
Like you can continue drinking water, but like it's full of like the nuclear residue
It's
and
mutant
stuff.
time.
It's just mutation and death time.
So that's basically the first game. Is you're on a timer. You got to find a water.
Oh, they
chip.
actually time you.
Yes.
On it.
Yeah. You have like 180 days or something to go find a water chip.
This is the one that was an RTS kind of overhead.
Yeah, the
right?
first two are top-down view. Basically that, like the TTRPG like sort of style of play.
Yeah.
And then Fallout 3 changed it to what we now understand Fallout to be, which is the first person exploration type thing. And then so the first game that's in the beginning what you're doing. I got to go find a water chip, save my vault. You do that.
Okay.
Then it shifts to, I've been running into super mutants. What's up with these guys? And it turns out, like, oh, they're being manufactured.
Yeah, I remember this.
So, there's this guy, right?
So super mutants aren't naturally occurring at all?
No.
Or, okay, that makes sense.
So, importantly, a huge thing for the Fallout universe is that before the war, the U.S. government was experimenting with this thing called FEV. The Forced Evolutionary Virus.
Oh, that's not good. That's a bad thing for that to stand for.
And they were doing lots of experiments with this, which these experiments would directly lead to the invention of things like Death Claws, which are an iconic Fallout monster. They're
like little Godzillas.
Yeah, it's like a horrible blend between like a T-Rex and a Velociraptor.
Yeah,
like
they're like gorilla like body type where they have the super long arms and stuff. Mm-hmm. Sick. Yeah,
and they're a classic Fallout monster, and they're generally like one of the hardest enemies in the game. Right. Directly a result of the U.S. government fucking around FEV.
Classic.
But what happened was the world ended.
Right.
And then they didn't continue the experiments with FEV.
Right. What? How could they? The world done ended.
But a little bit after the world ended, some people were snooping around this military base, the Mariposa military base, where the FEV experiments were conducted, and they were looking for stuff. They're scavengers. The world has ended.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is one of the guys fell into a vat of FEV.
Oh, shit ass.
And some stuff happens when you do that, which is
I like to imagine like right before that, like there's the like lower dump of FEV, and like in the like I guess flashback, it shows like they go up to the vat and they get like 2 drops and like a little eyedropper and very carefully move it over to the test subject. That becomes a death claw almost immediately, and they're like, hopefully no one falls in that giant vat. That would be catastrophic. No one could take that much of the FEV.
And then Scooby-Doo noise sound effect.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. You saw what I was
And unfortunately, this poor bastard, I don't know the character's name, but later he becomes the Master.
Right.
And he mutates, like...
severely.
Horribly.
Yeah.
Basically becomes like a flesh pile.
Yeah.
And instinctually, like, if I'm remembering right, he hit like a horrible like tentacle just like ripped off of him, and then just grabbed like a rat and ate it, like absorbed it.
Oh.
And then the rat's consciousness fused with his. So he has now become like this weird gestalt being, and he figures out that like, oh, I can eat people and I get smarter.
Yeah.
So he starts eating people.
Yeah.
And expanding his consciousness, and then his body
becoming the Trapper Keeper monster from
it fuses with the military base. Oh. He is a weird mutant machine hybrid
because he fused with a supercomputer, right? And then he's able to process with the supercomputer. So not only is he able to eat people and get their intelligence, he also is like the intelligence of a supercomputer.
Yes. And he
Pretty good move.
continues the experiments with FEV.
Right.
Which he makes his own version that's air quotes superior, and he creates super mutants. Which is, you grab a dude, you dunk him in the FEV, they turn into a super mutant, basically. Problem is...
That sounds like a very slapdash approach to science.
Who can,
Who can judge the master, obviously. He ate all the scientists.
And, so his big plan is, I'm going to create... Basically, I'm going to repopulate the world with super mutants. They're immune to radiation. They're physically superior.
Right.
I just got to figure out this whole problem where they're really stupid. That's their big drawback, because they're generally really dumb.
That's like the main thing for humans. If even half of us are like too dumb, all of this comes crumbling down so quickly.
And so he continues his experiments, and then that's his big plan: is I'm gonna repopulate the world with a superior race.
Yeah, just as soon as I figure out this little hiccup with the brain.
Which the solution to that is I got to find people who have like no mutations.
Oh,
which is
completely pure people.
Really rare nowadays.
It sounds like the kind of people that would only...
With those vaults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it's all coming together.
Yeah, they're nice and pure.
Yeah.
And so that's his...
There are 17 control vaults full of pures.
So the super mutants, that's their job, is like, that's why they're out in the wasteland, is they're just abducting people to create more super mutants. And then they want these unmutated people to create intelligent super mutants,
right?
Which it does work if if you're not like really fucked up or anything, like, and you just get dunked in the FEV, but you become an intelligent super mutant, and that's like his number one guy is like the lieutenant or something, and he's a hyper intelligent super mutant.
I hate to sound like I'm on the bad guy's side, but what's the downside?
They're sterile.
That's the only other thing that they have to be.
Yep.
And so that's the big hiccup, if you have a character who you've maxed out your speech and everything, and like charisma and all that, you can just talk the master into being like, you're wrong.
This plan won't work.
Yeah, find basically research data that says the super mutants can't breed, that your plan will fail.
Yeah.
And you just give it to him, and he's like, oh God, what have I done? Like, he has like a mental break and just self-destructs, basically.
That's ridiculous.
Because he's committed atrocities, like, and become a monster.
Well,
all for nothing.
He's Cartman from Trapper Keeper episode. But
God bless. That's such a good metaphor.
That's basically what he is.
No, what I also like that ending because they pay homage to it in Fallout 3, because one of the endings for that game is you can do something similar where if your speech skill is of a sufficient level, so so one of the entities within Fallout 3, like one of the organizations, factions you deal with, is the Brotherhood of Steel, and they're kind of like collecting knowledge. Like I love the Brotherhood of Steel. That's such a cool concept to me. Like if I existed in Fallout, I would definitely be a part of the Brotherhood of Steel. But they have like a rival faction called the Enclave. The Enclave are the good old US of A, but they have persisted into the future. Yeah,
the Enclave was the shadow government, and then when the world done ended, they're just the government, but like in isolation.
Right. Yeah. The Illuminati obviously would have had their own shelter in place.
Yes.
They would have like seen to it that they would survive, and then like they pop their heads out, they see super mutants and cowboys and stuff running around. They're like,
which is the plot of the second game.
Oh,
so let's
get back to the first game real fast.
So the first game is you stop the master,
right?
However you decide to do that.
If you don't talk him out of it, do you just like shoot his ass?
You kill him, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You just blow up the base.
Okay, blowing up the base makes more sense than just in my head. It was like you. Like, I only know the master as, like, the mutated faces and stuff attached to the computer screen. And I would have, like, laughed at this game if it was like, yeah, you shoot that computer screen and he's dead. Got it.
Yeah, murder his ass. And so that's because the game shifts from when you get a water chip.
Right.
You bring it back, and then your overseer is like, these fucking super mutants are real problem.
Yeah.
You need to figure out what's up with that. And then your mission becomes, now you're on a timer to stop the master.
Right.
And so that's how the game shifts. You do that.
That's really cool.
It's very neat concept.
Yeah.
Like, and because at first there's no real like antagonist. Like,
Right, it's just the oncoming threat of like my people won't have water,
Yeah,
so therefore you go out into the wastelands. Presumably you complete side quests just like all the new games as well.
The real enemy is the wasteland.
Yeah.
Like you have to navigate that, like figure it out.
Yeah, this engaging with the setting is like the key component of playing the game. I love that. That's cool.
Good.
Very, very cool. And then the end of the first game is you did it. You stopped him. You got the water chip. You come back. Sorry, you can't come back in. You know too much now. You're changed. Bye.
What?
Yeah, the Vault Dweller, who is the main character of the first game, you are exiled from the vault after you succeed.
Oh.
Because, you are a changed man. You now know the horrors of the wasteland.
Right, you know how fucked up it is out there.
Yeah, you can't come back here.
Right. You're going to bum everyone out with your PTSD.
Oh, man.
So you go...
That's rough.
So he goes off.
It's going to be catastrophic for the
into
vibes.
the wasteland. Yeah. And then some of the Vault Dwellers are really pissed about that, and they go join him.
Right.
And then that brings to that's the second game, essentially, is you are now the chosen one, the descendant of the Vault Dweller, that he established a village. You're now like a tribal society, basically, there. And, you're gonna do all this stuff. And then the enemy in this one is the Enclave, who are the shadow government, who have persisted since the world ended.
Right.
They have an oil rig base off
sick.
of the coast of California.
That's so shadow government. That's so sick.
And they've just continued on since the end of the world.
Right.
You know, what have you. It's just the good old U.S. government, and they continue to have to elect, air quotes, elect presidents.
That's hilarious.
Because that's the top guy, is the president. You got to go stop him.
Yeah. Are you a bad enough dude?
Yeah. So
Hell yeah.
the Enclave's mission is they want to rebuild America
Right.
with their values, which is, if you're a mutant, go fuck yourself. You should die. So no mutations. Not
Okay.
allowed.
Well, let's be realistic for a moment. The population, let's be generous and say that it's only 70% mutants. That's being very generous.
Gotta go.
If they all have to go, then what you're looking at is a country that will not have enough population to run itself. What you need to do, Enclave, if you're listening, is you set up an intergenerational extermination where it's like, okay, for the first generation, we separate out this group of people, and then we make sure that the mutations don't persist. We make it so that they feel like they're making a great sacrifice for the human race. And then once you have enough regular people, then you go full mutie extermination. There can be no X-Men.
Oh no! Oh no!
That is literally what they...
That's their plan?
Yeah. Nailed it.
So they call them muties.
They do?
Yeah, they literally do. And then, so their plan is they've created a...
I'd call them X-Men, so that would be my slur.
That's a good one.
Against mutants in the Fallout future.
They've created like a chemical agent, basically, that'll just, if you have any mutations, it just kills you.
Oh man.
Now that is interesting.
And they're gonna just drop that in the world. And it's gonna, and it'll solve everything, right? Like, and your job as...
Does it kill mutated animals?
If any mutations whatsoever, you just die.
I hate to say it, but that does sound like a problem-solved situation.
That's what they're...
Because if it kills the death clause, there's no need for the nuclear Iron Man.
So, I'll come back to death calls in a second. But, so your job as the chosen one is stop the shadow government.
Right.
We live here. Like, you can't be doing that. Like, the wasteland is the waste. Like, this is the world now. Like, don't come in here and do your fucking
right. Impose
weird
your
genocide.
shit on us with a tacitly insane genocide that they only believe will work because they're like, well, we've already been self-sufficient out here, so it'll be fine for us.
Yeah, and that's the Enclave. They don't give a fuck. So they're against mutants, right?
Uh-huh.
But the boogeyman of the game is this guy, right? His name's Frank Horrigan. So, after the Mariposa base blew up, the Enclave was like, well, there was some good shit over there. Let's go excavate it.
Right.
And they basically started digging stuff up that exposes your guys to FEV.
Got some super mutants now.
And so Frank Horrigan was he was a guy who went up the ranks pretty quick till he got into the Secret Service.
Oh.
Big deal. Working for Shadow President.
Yeah.
Except he had a mental break, air quotes. It's not disclosed what that was. He had some sort of psychological issue and then was taken off of that Secret Service.
Right, there's exactly equally a chance that his quote-unquote psychotic break was like, genocide's the only answer that we have ready? We don't have any kind of cure that we've been looking into? No, what are you, stupid? Well, I think we should. That's traitor talk, trying to save the muties.
Well,
you're fired.
So Frank, the exact opposite. He's a loyal boy. But what happens is, he got exposed to FEV. And so the Enclave were like, you're mutating. Let's work with that. And so Frank Horrigan became
over here.
Yeah, he became an experiment, essentially, where there are super mutants, and then there's Super Mutant Plus, which is Frank Horrigan, which is if you engineer a super mutant in a controlled environment with like modified FEV, and then brainwash him to being a loyal, basically Marine.
Right.
And then also you build a suit of power armor around him and bolt it into his flesh, and it keeps him basically stable by infusing him with chems and shit.
Holy shit ass. That's metal as hell.
That's pretty sick, yeah.
So Frank Horrigan
is a Chaos Marine.
He could probably kill a Space Marine pretty easily.
Goodness.
Yeah, he's that boy, sounds like.
He is 12 feet tall.
Goodness!
Yeah, he's massive. And then, to really hammer home how deadly Frank Horrigan is, there's these Deathclaws, right? Who are inhabiting a vault. They're intelligent.
Oh, man.
Right?
Are Deathclaws also a kind of people?
In this they are.
Oh.
Well, this specific
sect of
breed of Deathclaw, they're intelligent and they're peaceful.
Aww.
Like, yeah, they're nice.
Right, so they're dead.
Frank Horrigan shows up.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Doomslayer's
does.
them.
And to demonstrate how strong Frank Horrigan is, he kills a Deathclaw in a single hit.
He just punches
He
its
just
head.
punches it and it dies.
God bless.
So there's a little webcomic thing that I reference a lot. And it's just like a little stick guy walking up to his friend and he goes, "Hey, I want to show you this new move." And then he punches his friend and his friend evaporates.
Yeah, it's just a little pile of ashes.
And like their second friend next to him was like, "That's a pretty good move."
Yeah, every time I say it's a pretty good move, that's exactly
That's what I
referencing.
mean.
That's what I'm
That's a
referencing.
pretty good move.
It's a pretty good move.
Yeah.
Got his ass.
And Frank being Frank, he's loyal to the cause. He doesn't give a shit. Like,
Right.
He's exterminating this like peaceful like community of intelligent Deathclaws, and then after he like it's either after he kills them or some other character or something. The next thing he says is just like, "What's for lunch?"
God
Right. This wasn't
bless.
even his whole day.
To really hammer home like how much of a piece of shit he is. And so he's the boogeyman of the game. Like every time Frank Horrigan shows up, bad things
That's
happen.
a pretty big boogeyman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the funniest thing is about Frank Horrigan, though, he doesn't think of himself as a mutant.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, he'd
love
kind
that.
of have to.
He calls you a mutie, like, constantly. Every single time he talks to the Chosen One, he basically calls you a mutie bastard.
Just that level of indoctrination where it's like, what are you then? I am a god. And then he just like crushes you. Like,
And yet, no, he's not a mutant, he's a loyal soldier.
that's what he keeps saying?
No, that's his, like, general mindset.
Yeah,
basically.
So there was a Doom movie that came out a while ago starring our boy Carl Urban and The Rock.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And that is essentially The Rock's character in that. He starts getting mutated by the fucking... I think it's a virus that,
Yeah.
like, accelerates your genome or some shit in that movie. Something with chromosomes. Doesn't matter. It, like, makes half of all people into good Christian supermen, and then half of other people into demons. And as The Rock is turning into a demon, he's like, I'm being a good soldier! That's what this is! As he's tearing through metal with his clawed hands and his scales.
God bless. That was
And
such a
Carl
weird
Urban
movie.
is just being a dude fighting him, and it's exactly this situation.
And yeah, that's Frank Horgan, and then so he's the basically the big bad of that game,
Right.
where the actual like person you're trying to take down is the president.
Right.
You gotta kill the president.
Right, but once you get to the president, it's not a fight. He's
Yeah.
a president.
Frank's the one in your way.
Every president in all of history, the real threat of the president is the guys around the president. And
I don't know. Teddy was a samurai.
Teddy was a samurai.
He was built different, all right.
However,
Yeah, dude.
those days are gone.
Yeah, no, God.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
And so,
R.I.P. to a real one, Teddy.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So Frank Horgan, you take down by you can do a lot of things in the game where it's like you can hack the turrets, and you can like persuade Enclave members to join you to like hey, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
And so like all of that that's the canon explanation of how the fuck did you kill that guy?
Yeah.
Is you did all the stuff.
Yeah.
And then when he it's pretty brutal. Like you blow him in half, and then he on his hands like walks towards you, and is just like you haven't done shit. Like,
Yeah.
I just activated the self-destruct sequence. Like, go fuck yourself. Semper Fi. Like, and yeah, he to the last, he's a loyal soldier.
Oh my
Motherfucker.
God.
Blows
Goddamn.
himself up and tries to take you with him.
Really forcing him to blow himself up was the only way to beat
The
him.
idea
Yeah.
of tearing him in half and him walking on his hands and
Like
still
Sebulba?
being as tall as you was hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Because he's 12 feet tall. If he's cut in half, it makes him 6
Yeah.
feet tall. That's hilarious.
And he
Like-
still calls you a muty bastard. As he's like as
Giga
he's
Chad.
dying.
Giga Chad. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, then that's
Oh, man.
basically the second game is you stop the Enclave, you did it, good job. They've now had to relocate to DC. Because you destroy the oil rig.
Right, yeah.
And that's the third game, essentially, is Smash Cut, a vault, one of the good ones, and you were maybe born in there, who knows? You do a weird little sequence where you're a baby, and you're I think Liam Neeson.
How
voices your
long
dad.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
it
that's
between
the
like the apocalypse and like all these games? Because
The timeline.
I was under the impression that some people were like kids when the apocalypse happened, and then like all of the vault stuff happens, and most of the vaults open up, and then like those people are like adults.
I think that's like 200 years at least.
So
200.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
it
I'm
depends.
way off.
Depends
Yeah.
on the game. So
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say they take place in different time periods.
yes. So
Because Fallout 4, the game starts with the thing happening. You literally
Yeah.
see it happen. But they're
Right,
also
that's
putting
what I'm thinking of
cryostasis.
right now.
So they're also putting
Oh, they
cryostasis.
put-
So
Yeah.
Fallout
see.
76 is the first in the timeline
Oh,
Oh, I like that.
where
where they
so-
would have the most freedom to
so the-
continue it as an
yeah.
online
so
game.
the
That makes
bombs
sense.
drop in 2077.
Okay,
That's when the world ends.
right.
And then basically Vault 76, one of the good ones, air quotes, is their mission was in 25 years the vault's going to open up and you're going to go out there and you're going to repopulate. You're going to rebuild
Oh,
America.
25. Wow.
Yeah.
That's real soon.
And then other vaults, no, that wasn't.
They were-
you just continue to live in the vault, like, and
Yeah.
it's so that's the first one, and then
I would think that there'd be at least one vault who was dedicated entirely to like monitoring outside when is it safe to come out.
they don't really, as far as I know. they
But I
don't really,
suppose
get
Vault
into it.
Tech wouldn't really make that one of the experiments. Their product sort of demands its use. So why would they bother finding out when you don't need the fallout shelter? That doesn't help them make money at all. They would want you to just need this thing forever.
Yeah, it's
And then the world ends and all their capitalist interests are pretty irrelevant, so...
so it's like it's pretty vague, like what Vault Tech's like end game is, but supposedly the whole purpose of all the vaults, all the experiments, and everything was so that Vault Tech could learn how to travel to a different planet.
Oh, word?
Yeah, rebuild the human race, like with everything they gained from the vaults.
That reminds me. There's a thing that I did not know about, but apparently it's been a part of Fallout for a long time. Aliens?
Yeah.
are a thing.
Yep.
Are they related to the end of the world?
No. They're just around.
That they are. Okay.
So in the it goes all the way back to Fallout 1. That's a random encounter you can get is because when you're traveling through the wasteland, it's just like basically procedurally generated. And that's one of the random things is you can find a crashed alien spaceship.
That's pretty
So
sick.
it goes back all the way to the beginning. Aliens are just in Fallout. Like, deal with it. And to the point of Fallout 4, where there's like a whole like quest line of where you get abducted by aliens.
Oh.
So they're like pretty involved, but they're not really integral to the story at all. They're just around.
Yeah.
Or like New Vegas, if you take the Wild Wasteland trait, you can find a crashed alien spaceship in one portion of the map.
I love it, dude.
Shit like that. Aliens are just around. Deal with it.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah,
So their intent was to repopulate on a different planet. I suppose the vaults would be very helpful for that. It's like finding out like how to not let people go insane by purposely making a bunch of people go insane, and how to grow plant. Okay. I buy that. I'm being a hater nitpicker by heart.
Hell yeah.
But so far Fallout hasn't disappointed once.
No, but going back to what I was saying earlier, with the Enclave and like the president, like, are you a bad enough dude to kill the president? Okay, so as I recall, I believe I either saw someone finish the game or I finished the game. I don't remember. I don't think I played through it all the way, so I want to say I saw Nick or someone do this. But yeah, he had maxed out speech as one of the skills he got in that game. And he's like in the Enclave base in DC doing stuff, and you get to the room with the president, and it's time to confront the president of the Enclave. And he's a supercomputer.
Yep.
He's a supercomputer programmed to be all of the greatest presidents of the United States, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, the likes. And so he just thinks with the authority of the original United States government. That is the president of the Enclave. And so you talk to him, and if you have enough speech, you can convince him that you are an evil AI. You are a facsimile of what American values are about. You should destroy yourself. And he's like, oh, damn, you're right. All right, get out of here, kid. And then, yeah, he just blows himself up. That's it. Good game. Roll credits. Like, I thought that was so cool. I had never seen that in a video game before.
Does the end of every Fallout game have like a thing you can do with only maxed out speech or something?
Yes, basically, yes.
That is great.
Because New Vegas, I just realized the New Vegas one is Kazar, right? You can fucking tell Kazar to fuck off, right?
What?
I
don't know any of these characters.
Sorry, yeah. I'm jumping ahead here.
Yeah.
I'm jumping around.
So yeah,
Please explain.
So you basically just summarized like Fallout 3, which is
Sorry if I jumped ahead.
No,
Fallout 3.
You're in DC, Enclave again.
Yeah.
There's still a problem. Now they have a supercomputer as the president.
Right.
That's like a big reveal.
Yeah.
Because
he won in a landslide victory.
yeah, because they were dudes before.
Right.
But yeah, they apparently decided no, the supercomputer is the way to go. And then their main goal is same as the last one. They're going to infect the water supply because that's a big thing. You can. You're supposed to go find a water purifier.
Someone poisoned the water hole.
And you're gonna fix the Potomac.
Oh.
Yeah. Or you can do what the Enclave wants, and you could poison it with basically that chemical agent from the last game.
Kill all the mutants.
And yeah, it'll kill all the mutants. Or you can just be like, you should kill yourself, Mr. President. And he's like, bet.
Yeah, it's so good. It was so cool to watch. Because, like, he was because the dialogue is pretty well scripted. So, like, you don't say anything, but it's just, like, the little lines of dialogue you would say to them, and then they talk. So I was just listening to Nick just, like, do this, and it gets, like, speech 100 or whatever, and it's, like, a little option of him just being basically a snarky little cunt, and he's just like, yeah, you're a fucking robot, dude. What do you know? And he's like, shit, you're right. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, and then
I'm forming a gamer opinion.
That's basically Fallout 3. Like, there's more to it than that. But that's, in a nutshell, like, how that went down.
My gamer opinion of Fallout is that you should put all your points into speech and all the non-combat things. Mm-hmm. And for all the combat things, the answer is get good.
That's why I played New Vegas. New Vegas, I did speech, crafting. I basically did skills that would, like, give me stuff or make people give me stuff. And then my combat ability was subpar, so I would mostly just, like, get my repeating rifle and just unload into something and scream. Like that. I think I did mostly intellect and agility. I was very squishy. I did not have a lot of health. I did not have a lot of, like, martial prowess. But boy, could I tell people to do stuff for me.
That's, basically in every Fallout game, you get rewarded if you go that route. And then the next game is New Vegas, which, quickly on the timeline, I don't remember exactly when the first game is supposed to take place, but then the second game takes place, like, 100 years later.
Right.
Like, you were like, generations removed from the Vault Dweller as the chosen one.
We're presumably 200 to 300 years away from Apocalypse.
Yeah, and then Fallout 3, I'm not exactly sure where that lines up after that. And then New Vegas takes place, like, 40 years after the second game.
Uh-huh.
And then you are now the courier,
Right.
which New Vegas is my favorite. I have a lot of nostalgia attached to it.
Run us through it.
Such a good game. It has such a good opening, too, where you get shot in the fucking head.
Real quick, before we go into New Vegas, one of the things about Fallout 3 that was excellent is, like, the first, like, town you encounter.
Uh-huh.
It's called Nuketown.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's built around a nuclear warhead that didn't go off. But
I
it's
remember
still
this.
alive.
Yeah.
It's still just there. And one of the first, like, big quests you can do is you can go to Tenpenny Tower. And there's, like, just basically a big old rich fat cat up there. And he's like, that fucking town obscures my view. I want you to blow the nuke up. And, like, you can just go do that and blow up Nuketown. And only
That's such a Mr. Burns plot.
You can go hang out with Mr. Burns and he'll fucking give you a whole bunch of shit to blow that fucking town up. And the only person that survives is the vendor lady there. And now she's just the ghoul because she's like entirely radiated ghoul monster, but she'll still sell you shit. So you still have the vendor there. Great job. Like, but
it's a living.
Yeah, exactly. It's all played up in the same place. It's so bad, dude. It's so
Or
fun.
you can disarm the nuke.
Yeah.
Right.
If you have a big enough tech skill, then you can save the town. Hooray! But yeah, I always got tickled by, like, that's such a cool... What a great first town. Because you can just be like, you know what? Fuck this town. I don't like these people.
There's a cult that's developed around the nuke.
Oh.
The Children of Adam.
I forgot about this. Yeah.
That's like it's like a whole little thing. Like, they worship the nuke, essentially.
Yep. One of my favorite things in Futurama is when they go down to the sewers and, like, Leela's learning all about the culture of the mutants down there, and they do, like, worship an unexploded nuclear bomb. And when, like, Fry and Leela are, like, they're, like, interested, they're like, what are the lore implications of that? And like, the mutants are like, we treat it like it's Easter and Christmas, man. Who gives a shit? It's not that big a deal.
God bless. That's so good.
Yeah. So New Vegas opens with you get shot in the head.
Typically deadly.
Yeah.
Is this Back in the Saddle is like the name of the achievement?
The first quest is Back in the Saddle.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So Anarchy Johnson, because of his backstory, that's what I named his custom background, Back in the Saddle.
Because he got hit in the head, and he woke up, he didn't know what the fuck was going on.
He woke up with a thirst for revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got shot by some kind of mobster-looking man. He's in, like, a checkered suit.
There's like a
voiced by Matthew Perry.
There's an obvious biker next to him, hands him a gun. Yeah. One of the Mongols, or Khans, I think the Great Khans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great Khans.
Yeah. That's good. I always like whenever there's a biker thing and they're themed after the Mongols or horsemen.
It's so good. And this
Chef's
Fallout
kiss.
game is the last, like, good Fallout game to me because, yeah, you can make buddy-buddy with the fucking biker gang. You can just be like, yeah, I'm cool with them, actually. Because you have choice and agency. They got rid of choice and agency from Fallout. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a lot of different factions in New Vegas. There's the Great Khans, there's the Fiends.
What a great name.
Who are just psychotic drug addicts, basically.
They're fiending. They're fiends.
Yeah, those would be the fiends.
One of my favorites is the Kings.
The Kings?
The Kings.
I don't remember these.
Who do you think they styled themselves after? He was known as the King.
Elvis?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
baby.
an Elvis scroll.
They're all basically Elvis impersonators.
I love this.
That's my favorite thing
They all have like
ever.
a pompadour.
Yeah,
like
of course they do.
You have to come with us.
They have a greaser aesthetic. Their leader talks in an Elvis voice.
Yes, of course
Yes!
he does. I didn't know about this. Where did I miss?
And they don't even know who the king was. They don't call him Elvis.
Right, they call him the king.
They just know him as he was the king.
Yeah.
And then they think he was some sort of like religious figure.
I mean, just going off
yeah.
of like the cultural artifacts that Elvis left behind, they could put together like maybe he conquered Hawaii. Like
That's because their home base was an impersonation school for Elvis.
That's excellent.
That's incredible.
That's so
And so it's
That's
covered.
the same thing in Vegas.
Yeah, it's covered wall to wall in just Elvis shit. Like,
Right.
And so that's how they learned about him, and they decided to style themselves after him.
I love it.
And they're just a little side faction too. That's like you get like a companion. He's like a robo dog Rex.
Oh, hell
from,
yeah.
From the leader.
Great job.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Because Rex means king.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Oh, they're doing good work over
They're
there.
doing good work over there.
Good job. Good job.
Then the main faction.
Was that Obsidian who made this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
The main faction of the game, the two that are like, or the three really that are the important ones is Caesar's Legion.
Okay.
Khazar's Legion. Unga Bunga.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Which is they model themselves after the Roman Empire, and they're just like
The worst. They're the worst.
Yeah, they're just all the savage tribes of the wasteland united under one banner, basically.
Yeah.
And then there's the NCR, the New California Republic,
Right.
who have are occupying bits of Nevada. Like they do business with New Vegas, which New Vegas is the third faction run by Mr. House.
Mr. House.
Who is a mysterious figure at first, and he just seems to just run New Vegas somehow from his tower. And no one's quite sure who he is or what his deal is.
He has a technocrat control tower.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I love that.
And then Mr. House recruits you to do stuff for him, basically. So he is actually the founder of Robco, the robotics company.
Oh.
And he's sealed himself in basically like a hyperbaric chamber. And he's been alive this whole time, like since the bombs dropped.
For like 400
Yes.
years at this point.
And he's wired himself into the supercomputer of his tower.
Is that
and
where
that's how he runs everything.
the GIF comes from? Where it's like a casket hyperbaric chamber that's like lifted up by like a robot arm to talk to you.
Yep.
Oh man.
Because that's one of your options later on is you can hack his system, and you can just
Shake him to death like a baby?
Make him come out, and then you can just shoot his ass if you want.
Wow.
Or you can work for him and actually do what he wants, which is the initial what do you call it, the impetus of the game, which is you're the courier, you were on your way to deliver something,
And then you got shot in the head.
and that was the platinum chip,
Right.
which he needs because it's going to upgrade his Securitron system.
Oh.
And he was supposed to get it before the bombs dropped, but there was a delay and things just went south, and
Right.
he just didn't get it.
And he's been trying to put back together enough of a network of people to get it for like some 100 years.
His system would have shot down the nukes as they came, but because
They didn't get that platinum
he
chip.
didn't have the platinum chip, it wasn't as efficient, so it only stopped some of them. And so that's why the New Vegas Strip is still like mostly intact. Is because of his security
And it's based
system.
out of there. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, Fallout, I continue to buy into your premise.
It's yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what he wants you to do. Get me that platinum chip. That fucker stole it from you. He is one of the heads of the five families or something.
Right.
They're basically mobsters in New Vegas, and you just go kill his ass basically and take it back.
Ice his ass.
And you have choices.
Mum Ra commands you.
Basically, And you have a lot of choices from there of what you can do. You can side with the NCR, you can side with the Legion, you can side with Mr. House, or you can fuck all of them over, which is my favorite choice, because you can just take Mr. House's shit if you hack him, and then open up his casket or whatever, and then you just pop his ass.
Yeah.
And you can take over the system, and then you get control of the Securitrons, his robots, and then you're now the king of New Vegas, and then you can...
Do you plug yourself into his system? Like, get into his little casket?
That would be a good ending.
There's a Securitron NPC called Yes Man.
Oh.
And you pretty much get him, and then you plug him into the system.
So what
he takes it over.
I was imagining that, like, you're like, you shoot him, and then you, like, throw his ass away, and then you, like, start, like, plugging yourself into all the different ports, and you're like, but I'm going to do the one thing that this old fool never thought to do. I'm going to keep my gun in there with me. So, like, you end up like a desiccated mummy, but, like, with a gat. Like,
oh, yeah.
They open up the thing to ice you, and you can just, and then pull out your little gun. Pow!
So yeah, you plug Yes Man into the thing, and you got control of the Securitrons, and then you can sabotage the NCR and the Legion if you want to.
Right.
Will you just tell them to go fuck those guys up, or?
So, you can do it in a bunch of different ways, but the best way, in my opinion, is so it's the Battle of Hoover Dam is like the very last mission, and so you can plant explosives to fuck over the NCR, and you can also you get the NCR, you tell the NCR you're going to help them, and then they send basically like a flyby, like bombing, and that fucks over the Legion. And then at the end of all that, the Securitrons show up and just start killing everybody.
That's hilarious.
It's awesome. Like, yeah, if you do all of them at the same time, it's like chaos on the Hoover Dam. It's fantastic.
That's hilarious.
That's a really good culminative ending, though. Like, if we're just talking about like the narrative strengths of the different endings, the one where all of the things happen has to be the best one.
Yeah, and you don't got to do that either. You can...
Right, presumably you
do
can
all of those. Or
you
like
can be like,
those?
I want the Legion to win, yeah, and then you can just be a 1950s future Mad Max Roman man.
Yeah, the one I really liked the NCR ending for Hoover Dam, their one objective is because this whole time, like I think Kazar's Legion is talking about like a dragon or something. They keep alluding to this dragon.
A dragon?
And you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? And then come to find out, someone has a working plane, or you're trying to get it to work, like an actual World War II era bomber. Like, what kind of plane is it? I guess they have a fucking like an actual plane, and the goal is to get it to work. And then at Hoover Dam, it is a strafing run, and the barbarian savages are like, oh, they have an actual dragon. We can't win. We have to run. Because if I didn't know things could fly, like a Greek myth, and I have a machete and, like, metal armor, and they have, like, guns and stuff, but there's a lot of us, so, orc logic,
Yeah.
We can really get them. There's only, like, 200 of them on that dam, and we are legion, so, like, and then a fucking bomber comes in from the sun and explodes half our fucking flank. Yeah, I'm out of there, dude. They have dragons and shit. We can't win.
I'm sorry to throw this into a different tangent. There's a new chapter of Berserk that came out, and Guts is currently in chains in a dungeon.
Oh man, things have gone south.
His one good arm is chained up. They didn't bother chaining up his stump, but they took away his prosthetic hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then the entire building is besieged by monsters that have shown up because the secret tentacle shadow ninja half god man villain that works for Griffith he snuck in, and then his presence allows the deep dark things to creep in from the shadows, so monsters just start spawning from the shadows. And Guts is down in the basement, which is dark.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a mark on his neck which summons monsters.
Yeah.
So monsters are a swarm coming to his cell, and then the big bad guy, the shadow monster, comes down, and he's like, "It's time to kill you, Guts." And Guts, he prepares himself for death. And then they chase away the monsters, and one of the characters gets really mad at Guts, you were just ready to die, huh? What the fuck? You weren't gonna fight? And I get what they mean. Guts is in like an emotional low point. What you're supposed to see there is he's given up the will to live. But also, what did you want him to do? Punch him with his stump? You chained his hand. Hand. Singular.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with like, oh, they have a flying thing. What should I toss my hatchet at it?
I was wondering where you were getting. Yeah, no, exactly. It's like, oh, you fled in cowardice. You have dishonored your legion. Motherfucker, they have a dragon. What am I going to do about that, dude?
You want me to start climbing trees and hoping that it flies close?
Like, I fear no mortal man, but like, dude, I ain't fighting a steel dragon. The fuck are you talking about? Get your eyes checked, idiot. Why are you in charge? Like,
yeah, so that wraps up New Vegas. Next in line is Fallout 4.
Wait,
so how far in the future does 4 take place?
Before we talk about 4...
It's roughly 200 years.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Before we talk about 4, who shot you in the head?
The
one of the family
guy
guys
who stole the chip.
Oh, there's no more mystery there. We know who shot you in the head. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Fallout 4. 200 years, so this would be...
But you can side with him, too, if you want.
Really?
You
can turn on New Vegas?
Yeah, you can. He tries to cut a deal with you to be like, yeah, take out Mr. House for me, and then, like, we'll run this joint. I never do it, though. I always kill him.
Yeah.
You shot me in the head. Fuck you.
Like, well, yeah, he's going to probably do it twice. Like,
yeah, why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He's seen only returns on the investment of shooting you in the head the first time.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, and then...
so Fallout 4 takes place before, like, Fallout 2?
So, at the start, yes.
Yeah.
So, at the start, it's the day of the bombs.
Okay.
So, you're just a guy in your house. Or a lady, if you want.
Yeah.
This is the one where you get to customize both of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People make a really funny...
Yeah. That's how I learned about that podcast, My Brother, and Me. It's about 3 brothers, and one of the things that they did, they play
Monster
games.
Factory.
They play they call it Monster Factory, where they just go into like games with like extensive character creation and just make the ugliest monsters possible, or just the most interesting in some of them. Goodness, and that one had the. Do you remember the character's name?
No.
I have to clean the baby. I'd love to steal more of this bit if I remembered that name.
Oh, man.
But I don't.
The Final Pam.
The Final Pam.
Final Pam. Who could forget the Final Pam?
Of course. And Worthy Kids is how I found out about that. Because
Truly it's all connected.
Worthy Kids animated the Final Pam bit.
Did a great job. Very funny.
Spectacular.
So the game starts, and you're just a happy 1950s, 60s family.
Yeah.
With your robot butler, and I got my newborn son. Then, a Vault Tech guy comes to your door, and it's just like, you want to invest in Fallout Shelter? And it's like, maybe, whatever. And then the bombs fall.
I imagine that the guy's like looking over his shoulder, like he knows, like, I need to make one more sale.
Well, the funny part is you're ex-military, you're retired military, so it's like, oh, you've served our country, you and your family have earned a spot in the vault, and you can be like, no, I don't want to go in there, and he's like, but sir, like, you're a faithful American man, like, and he like insists,
you deserve to stay in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you fought when we annexed Canada.
Yeah, and then he literally signs off.
Yeah, that happened.
We're not going to comment on that. Right
yeah,
now.
That's bad. Yeah, no, but he says all that stuff, and then you sign, and then the bombs fall, and you're like running up to the vault. It's like right up the street, and then he's there, and they're like, "You're on the list," and he's like, "I work for Vault Tech. What do you mean I'm not on the list?" And like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah,
I don't know if they shoot him. I think they beat his ass.
I mean, exactly. You work for Vault Tech.
Yeah,
we already got what we needed out of you that last sale. By the way, sir, come on in.
Yeah, basically,
it's like the blast wall hits as like you're going down in the elevator, and it's some people didn't make it, but and then like this vault, this is the freeze you vault. You just get put in cryogenic stasis. Yeah, they just flash freeze you.
Luckily, it doesn't just kill everyone like doing that in real life does.
Yeah, so you get frozen. Your wife is directly across from you in another pod with your infant son.
Right.
They're frozen too. Then you wake up and indeterminate amount of time later, and some dudes are just about and thaw out your wife, and then shoot her ass and take your son, and then you get frozen again, and then you wake up again, and you don't know how long it's been. Go find your son.
If presumably you were not frozen for 200 more years. Hopefully your son's still out there.
So, by your reckoning, like, that just happened.
Right.
Then you go out into the wasteland that is Boston. And, yeah, you're just on a mission to find your... Where's my son? Like,
Kevin, they have laser muskets in Boston.
Yes.
They're cranks instead of, like, you don't pull out like a rod and jam down the gunpowder.
Right.
You have to crank it, and then
that's two Futurama jokes.
Yeah, it's good.
They do the wind up gun from the Balls War.
Yep.
And the muskets from when they're being reenactors, because when they're doing a reenactment of like the Civil War, and it's like mythologized to be Star Wars.
I love that.
There's genuinely Sith in the war.
That's good.
And like that when you fire it, like you see like the blue laser like comes all the way out, and then it touches them, and then it falls limp because it's like a tape measurer.
That's funny.
You just gotta wind it back up.
Yep.
I love the laser musket.
Yeah, the Minutemen.
What else would they call it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So as much Fallout 4, I like Fallout 4. I like because it's like it's basically civilization builder because you can like build your own settlements. You can take all the junk that you could loot in the previous game, which only use was to shoot out of like the junk shooting gun. Most of that junk had no actual use or value.
Right.
In Fallout 4, you can break stuff down and then build stuff, and you can like build like walls. You can build like a scrap palace, or like you can build. Like,
this is the one where you can build your little castle.
You build settlements, and then people settle in your settlements.
Yeah.
And then you have to protect your settlements. You have to give them power. You have to give them food. Yep. I really, really enjoyed that aspect. But the thing is, that was not just a feature of a game. That was the game. And there was really no options or selections to do like evil shit or like be a raider or anything. And I wouldn't even do any of that stuff. I never do that stuff.
Right,
in those
but the
games.
world is smaller if you can't.
Yeah, but like part of what made Fallout 3 so cool is you just go to like the slavers and just be like, I'm evil now, and just like get slave collars and shit. Like, or you can kill those guys. I always killed those guys. But the fact that I have the agency to be like, what? We should have slavery in the wastes. The fact that I have the agency to make that decision makes it a more robust game. And the fact that there's really you're railroaded the entire time on Fallout 4 into doing basically the good options. We talked about this in a previous episode.
Right.
A lot of developers understand that when they program evil options into games, less than half of players do any of them.
Right.
Like barely anyone ever does those options. I remember the Biomutant guys were talking about this in an interview. And so I understand the decision to be like, well, if no one's going to play it, why bother put it in there? We should just focus and fine-tune settlement building simulator. And I think that was actually a great idea. They did a great job. I think it's fine. But at the same time, like, one of the biggest gripes you hear is there's no, like, Mad Max options or, like, going buck wild options in Fallout 4. You are railroaded into doing basically the main story a certain way. And there's not a lot of, like, divergent
on one hand, if you're introducing an entire concept to the game, like, you're developing a settlement in a way that, like, other video games simply have not done. If you're, like, inventing a new thing, then I could see it. But frankly, like, the word-of-mouth hatred from people about, like, games that don't even let you consider doing the evil thing. Yeah. Like, Veilguard, the Dragon Age game, people hammered that game for that.
Really? See, I was afraid of that, because, like, I heard it didn't do too well, and I didn't really look into why.
The only reason I know anything about that is because... people are once again going at it, and every argument online devolves back into people saying, like, this is exactly the problem that people had at launch. We're having the same argument again, but it's, like, available through, like, PSN or some other, like, thing where it's free right now, basically.
Yeah, no, I player agency is important. I think a lot of games have been pretty cowardly in recent years with stuff like that.
But you know who wasn't?
Who?
Baldur's Gate.
No, Baldur's Gate, the Dark Urge persists.
They let you have sex with that bear.
They do. They let you do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Which Fallout 4 is like the first time where the protagonist is like has like a name and is like a
Right. He's
a
not
guy,
the courier.
yeah, he
He's not the
talks.
chosen one.
Well,
he's
still the you still have the title of the sole survivor, but you're like that guy's got a name.
Right.
Like you're like Nick or something. And then like and you got to go find your son, Sean. Like that is the game basically.
It really takes the mythology out of the sails when your son is just Sean.
Yeah, and it's the first time like the main character has like scripted lines.
Yep.
Like he like talks.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just very different for like how any other Fallout game played.
Not necessarily bad, but like I said, just
It's different.
The same way I look at Elder Scrolls V as like being like Broder Scrolls, that was the first one that was like for purely a mainstream audience and a hit. They did a great job. They fucking nailed it. They've sold us that game like 7 times.
Yeah.
Is this the one where like being in power armor actually feels like power armor?
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you get the power armor, it's so good. Okay, so going back to like you don't get to be the Raiders. Like one of the first missions you do is like there are some of the Minutemen like pinned down in like a memorial museum, like a Boston Memorial Museum.
There's tons of those.
And there's like some raiders like pinning some like settlers down, and like you basically have to go. You just storm the place and try to help them out. And like the Minuteman, like his the leader of like the people defending them, is like, okay, well we know there's like a chopper that went down. Like I think it was like, I don't know if it was the Brotherhood of Steel or Enclave. Some sort of like modern military-esque choppers like went down upstairs. So if you can like fight your way up there, you can use their arsenal. And we saw a minigun and power armor, and so like you fight through the Raiders River, you get up there, and then you walk in and there's like a suit of power armor just like
with
sitting
a
there.
minigun?
Well, it's just sitting there, and it's a sick ass cutscene where you like. You put the fusion reactor in, and you pull that shit up, and then you go in.
The
and you
opening licks of Iron Man.
You rip the minigun off the chopper, and then you're just above the Raiders pinning down the building, and you mow them down like fucking swine. It's so good.
Oh
it was
my
so
God.
high octane. I was like, this is a great way to start the game. I am so fucking sold. And then you immediately, all those settlers are your first settlers, and they go back to your home, and like you have to make civilization for them. Then that's it.
Deathclaw comes out of the sewer. And you're
What?
like, boss fight.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he just ghouls out of the fucking sewer. I remember to shit myself.
So I don't play video games, but that sounds fucking awesome.
It ruled.
Very
It ruled.
cinematic.
Yeah.
Cool.
But like I said, then like most of the win got knocked out of my sales because all I ever do was side quests and stuff.
Right.
And so basically, like I was just doing side quests to build my settlements, and after 30 hours of that, I grew bored and stopped playing.
Right.
I never do the main quest. It's a bad habit of mine.
The main quest in Fallout 4 is that there's this new shadowy group called the Institute. And yeah, they're doing stuff. Like we don't know what they're doing though. And
They're up to
bad.
shenanigans.
And their whole thing is they make robots. They look like people.
Oh, shit ass.
Call them synths.
I forgot. Yeah, the synths. I remember this.
Yeah.
So we're past the C-3PO stage of robotics, huh?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
they can make perfect synths. So
Oh.
indistinguishable from like a human.
I was under the impression that we were rocking more of like a Jetsons technology
The
where...
New Vegas ones were. They were like
Yeah.
a little wheel with like a big blocky body and
Yeah.
like tube arms and like a screen face. Yeah, those are like the robots that Mr. House had. These are just like androids. Yeah.
And so
Yeah, over in Vegas, they're still rocking those clunky, like, gonk droids. We're over here making Blade Runners.
yeah, literally, yeah.
Hell yeah.
And that's like, you know, one of the premises of the game
Lust
is
and straw.
yeah, it's like a whole thing where it's like it's caused like panic among people. Like, are you a synth? Like,
Right.
you know, it's like a whole scene that plays out. A guy shoots his own brother because he's like convinced he's a synth. Yada yada yada.
That guy was already a problem, I bet.
Then you find out that like, oh, these Institute guys seems like they're the ones that took my son. And so you got to try to find how to get into the Institute. Where is it? Who are they? That's like a whole thing. You get helped by a guy who was the prototype synth, and he's a detective now.
That's good.
But
I love him.
Yeah, he's just very obviously like a robot man, but he's free-willed and he doesn't work for them.
I love it.
Yeah, I think his name is Valentine.
That's a great robot name. Yeah, that's good.
And he helps you puzzle things together, like, and then you figure out how to get into the Institute, which they use teleportation technology. That's how you figure out like why nobody can find it. It's because they just zap themselves there. Then you gotta go.
Right. So the Institute, they could just fix all of Fallout, huh?
So that's like much like the Enclave. That's like their goal is like we're gonna save the world or whatever, but we got to do some atrocities.
Right.
Like,
there's gonna be a lot of Holocausts that stand between us and saving the world, but we do save the world in the end.
You gotta break a few legs, make an omelet.
Yeah. Then like so, it's like a whole thing. You got to figure out how to get in there, and then you keep where's my son? Like, and then you're piecing that together too, and then it turns out your son is the leader of the Institute,
Right.
who is called Father.
That he probably had daddy issues.
So he's like an old man now. He's like 60.
Right, it's been a while since he got frozen.
Yeah, and then they wanted him because he was basically not mutated.
Right.
He was unchanged. He was like a pure, straight human. And then from his DNA, they figured out how to do the synth shit. Like the fake skin and stuff they put on the robots.
Right.
Like was based off of his DNA.
So that means that probably...
he's the father of the synths.
Okay, so all things considered, that means they probably have the technology for like perfect artificial skin grafts.
Yeah.
So they could just fix every mutant all fucking roasted out with wasteland radiation skin. Just pop a new face back on him.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that, obviously.
Yeah, why would we do that?
No, that guy eats lizards and shit. We're not dealing with that, but
that's good.
So yeah, the Institute is just like that's their shtick, and then you have to come to terms with, oh, my son, like, what have you become? And then he tries to get you to like join him, and basically you just don't have the option to like
join him.
It pretty much like railroads you into like you got to stop your son. He's gone too far, and that's like basically how the game ends. It is it kills me, but I gotta stop my son. Like he's evil now.
Yeah, which is like almost every Fallout game that I know of before that has like options where you're just a selfish asshole or you're just evil.
There's multiple endings.
Yeah, which like I said, I never picked those options. I never once thought, you know what I want to do? I want to like poison all the mutants. Like that's not how Tony plays these games. I want to be a good wholesome boy and do the good wholesome boy thing.
But I want to tell you that I'm not picking killing someone.
But it just something about not having the option makes me want it more. It's like I'm not going to push the red button, but the fact the red button is gone is like, you've taken something from me. The game is now shittier because of this. Even though it doesn't actually affect me at all. Which is really... I feel like that's an ignorant opinion to have.
No, if something is affecting your player's psychology, that's part of playing the game.
Yeah,
that's what the game is supposed to do. It's supposed to give you psychological feedback. That's why we like it.
Part of the buy-in of the setting to me is how fucked up the wasteland is.
Yeah.
And like fucked up situations can make fucked up people. And sometimes you have to make the most of bad situations. So, like, you know, if you gotta blow up that town that's obscuring the view of your fucking tower, you gotta blow up that town. Yeah?
I mean, every game does contain both the fact that there are just guys that walk around and eat people. Like, they're just roving cannibals. And also, when you blow guys up, you can take their meat and become a people eater.
Yeah, you can just spec into being a cannibal. I forgot about this. Yeah. They kept that in 4, right?
Yeah, it's a perk every game.
Good. At least they kept being a cannibal.
I don't know if perk is what I would call it.
Those are the feats of the game.
Oh, I see.
Fuck, that's good.
And yeah, then that's 4, essentially, is...
That sucks.
Find my son. Oh, my son's the bad guy.
It's rad as hell. Let me say that. Let me say it all sounds rad as hell. But the fact that there's also No one said anything about like, oh, if you have max speech, you can tell your son that he's being bad, and now everything's cool. Nah.
Every other game has that. Every other game has you can gaslight them out of what they're doing, and just 4 is just so limp dick with its options. It's just like this is the every quest is resolved a way basically.
Right.
It's not like open ended or like fuck them. I don't want to do this quest anymore. You just blow away the quest giver. You don't worry about it. Like that used to be an option. We used to be a proper country.
Just a quick save load back to the start of the quest at the quest giver, and they're like, so will you accept the quest? I tried it. It was too hard.
Bam! Just take a shit and leave. Yeah. I will always, and this is, because, like, Bethesda is, like, the company that does that. Did they do Fallout 4? Mm-hmm. I forget exactly how the development goes.
They bought them, and the first game they made was 3.
Yes. And then Obsidian made New Vegas. And did Obsidian break off from Bethesda? Is that what happened? Or are they separate studios? How does that work?
Yeah, they're not like affiliated. I don't think. Like they just I think they just contracted them to make New Vegas, but they haven't made it. They haven't made another Fallout game. Okay. New Vegas is the only one Obsidian.
Who made Oblivion?
I want to say it was Obsidian, or at least they were involved.
Okay.
I mean,
let's take a little look.
Bethesda owns Elder Scrolls as well.
Yes, yeah. Take a look real quick, because the point I'm trying to make is, I think it was specifically Oblivion was like the last type of game like that I know of, where you could just kill an integral NPC and the game would just tell you, well, you done fucked up.
Bethesda,
okay. So like Kevin, in Oblivion, if I kill like one of the NPCs that's required to talk to for the main quest,
right,
the game will literally
that's where the meme comes from.
Yeah, the line of fate or whatever has been
severed by this person's
This is a doomed
death.
world.
Yeah.
You better reload, or we told you fucked up.
Yeah.
And like it's cool they tell you that and yada yada yada, but like the fact that I'm allowed to do that at all is a more robust game. Like the fact that I can just
break it.
I can just cuck myself out of being able to beat the game, like because I'm a jackass. Like that's so good. Like,
and the game still takes like the time to be like, hey, if you just click this button, we'll take you back to the point where the game can be continued. Yeah, it's just an option.
It just tells you load a new save. It literally just tells you have to go back and do a new save. Like this file is fucked. If you save from here, if you save again, you're fucked. So you better go back, otherwise just know that you fucked it. And I love that. I love that. That's not in Skyrim. You literally can't kill the NPCs that are important. Like, they just go limp, like, don't kill me, huh? And then if you keep hitting them, nothing happens. And then eventually they just get back up. And then they hate you or whatever, but, like, your bounty goes down or whatever. Like, over time, it can be fine, and you can still play the game.
Right.
But no, like, I want to say, Fallout 3 had that too, right? You could just kill the NPCs that mattered? No? Maybe not?
So, even in, like, Oblivion, if someone was, like, it was what you just said for Skyrim, like, some NPCs, like, could not be killed.
Really? Okay.
They would, they like, fall limp or whatever, then they get back up and their health bar comes back.
Okay.
That said, though, anyone who was not, like integral to the plot or anything, you just kill them. Like,
that's great.
Oblivion, they'll throw you in jail for it.
They can try.
Yeah, you can serve your time, or you can.
What was it, Morrowind then? Was Morrowind the one you could just kill the NPCs and it's like, yeah, you fucked it, it saves over?
I think so.
Okay, so it wasn't. So it goes even further back. So I guess I was being too scrutinous. I assumed it was Oblivion was
it's okay. It's only 2 games ago.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind was you could just fuck your file.
Yeah, exactly.
But I tried playing Morrowind recently. I just fucking couldn't, man. It's so retro. It just I fucking.
It's pretty rough.
It's hard. I wish I had played it when it was new. I wish I had played it when it was like the cutting edge of video games, and I didn't know no better. That had to have been an experience. But I'm a spoiled baby boy, and my tastes are a lot more scrutinous these days. But with that, we're gonna.
Is that the end of the Fallout games?
I mean, there's 76, but that's actually the first one, technically. Like in the.
Oh, do you want to keep going about 76? I almost ended the episode.
I mean, I'm not like finished with it, so I don't like know too much. It's basically just like I don't know how to describe. Like you're.
If you haven't seen the end of it, you honestly don't know the scope of exactly what you're going to be describing, so you don't know what's important yet.
It's really like vague what the point of the main quest line is. There's just little things about it that I really enjoy, like because it's in fucking West Virginia.
Oh, that's good.
So and like an enemy type is cryptids.
Oh man!
So you can fight Bigfoots.
So you run into
a Mothman.
Yeah, you run into moth. There's random Mothmen.
That's good. It's a good bit.
There's a cult of the Mothman.
There's one in real life too.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing. There's like Wendigos. It's whatever. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. I guess the last thing I would say is the Fallout series.
Yeah,
was phenomenal. So if you haven't watched it, even if you don't know anything about Fallout, go check that out because it's really good.
We touched about this on a previous episode. The thing that I told myself, because most video game adaptations are terrible. Like
right.
You are the exception if you're not. And so I saw Fallout getting a show, and I was like, all right, I'll give the first episode a watch. I'm pretty sure it's going to be hot garbage. But if they do Power Armor okay, I guess it'll get a pass for me. I guess.
Yeah.
And then the Brotherhood of Steel has their fucking priests, orating to the pages. And then the fucking helicopter thing lands, and the fucking walking tanks stomp up the fucking hangar. I lost my goddamn mind. I was like, this is so fucking cool. This is exactly what I wanted out of this show. They knew exactly what I wanted, and they gave it to me. Unga bunga. You know it's terrible? Didn't keep watching it. I just don't.
That's hilarious.
I don't watch TV anymore.
This is everything that I want out of a television show.
Yeah.
Shut it off.
Yeah, everything perfect in that first episode. I was so happy, and then I just didn't keep watching it.
It's really good.
It looks really good.
I only have one complaint really, and that's I don't know if it's just isolated to the show or what, but they did change some lore about ghouls, which a ghoul is just a mutated person from they're look like a zombie basically. They're functionally immortal, right? Unless you get shot in the head or something, and then typically you're good for a while, and then they tend to go feral,
right?
Then the show made some decisions about that, which doesn't really match up with the games, and it's not a deal breaker, but it stood out, and I don't know how I feel about it.
What is it? What did they change?
So, the ghouls, it's implied in the show that a drug basically makes people functionally immortal, and then from there it's radiation that slowly fucks you up, and that's what a ghoul is.
That makes sense.
And then they need to keep taking this chemical or they'll go feral, which is not
right
how that ever worked before.
Gotcha.
It's it's an important plot point in the show.
Right.
It makes
Right, that's an easy way to put stakes. I know that one of the main characters is a ghoul, so that's...
played by Walter Goggins, and he's
incredible.
Yeah, he's really good. Man, he's perfect as the ghoul. And he's such a bastard, too. He's... I don't know, it's really good.
People are mad horny for a man with irradiated hot dog skin and no fucking nose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he in the show he's been alive since pre-war,
right?
And
he was an actor or something, right?
Yes, he specifically did advertising for Vault-Tec.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then his wife was an executive for Vault-Tec.
Oh,
so that's a whole thing, whatever. But by the time we see him in later on in the future and everything, he's been a ghoul for 200 years,
right?
And they really make it so that you believe he's been alive that long, because he's an asshole.
Oh, they do a really good job writing that character.
Yes,
okay, I see
and
what you mean now.
And he's a gunslinger.
Yeah,
he used to play a cowboy. That was one of the things.
Yeah,
and no, he's literally a cowboy now. And he did fight in wars and stuff.
Right.
But it's when we see him as the ghoul in the future, he is a nigh unstoppable gunslinger man.
Right, he goes from like an actor with some chops that have been on the battlefield to like just the message of the movie True Grit over over time, where it's like, no, this man is fucking, this is the cowboyest man.
Yeah,
he's got 200 years of cowboy on his resume. No other cowboy has that on his resume.
There's so many good scenes of him just like taking people out. Like he just whips out his gun really quick, and he's just a deadeye, like perfect every time.
He's had a lot of practice.
Also, like they really play up how like ghouls can just get shot, and then like that's one of like the first scene you see him in a shootout. He's just casually walking through bullet fire, like and getting hit, and just doesn't give a fuck because he's a ghoul.
Right. He's gonna be fine. He's got Wolverine powers.
He's just taking shots, and then like he does like go behind cover eventually.
Right.
But then he's like
right, because there's only so much of his body that can be converted into lead at one time.
And it's a really good scene too, where like he just starts a gunfight, and then he takes tomatoes that are just like out and just starts eating them, and like as he's getting shot. And then goes behind...
You know how hard it is to get tomatoes?
Yeah, he takes cover, and there's another guy there, and he's just like... Basically like, what's up, man? And the guy gets shot in the fucking head, and he's just like, I'd offer you one of these tomatoes, but I won't on the account of you're dead. Like, basically. So dumb, man. It's just I don't know, everything about him is just fucking spot on, perfect, love it. Yeah, it's a really good show. You should check it out.
All right, I think that's it, though.
Yeah, and we're going to end the episode here. Thank you so much for listening.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Play and watch Fallout.
Yes, sir.